When Dina was arrested, she admitted conning money from men, but she denied trying to kill Richard.
It was self-defense. Told him I'd spent all his money. He came at me with a knife. I had to hit him.
At her trial, the jury believed her, and she was acquitted of attempted murder.
I was devastated. I was made to feel like I was the criminal.
Chief Inspector Underhill was now even more determined to reinvestigate the suspicious death of Dina's previous husband, Julian Webb.
Julian was an advertising rep for a local newspaper. He was, by all accounts, from so many different people, a lovely, lovely person. I wish I'd met him.
Like Richard, Julian was a keen fisherman. His other passion was staying fit.
Mrs. Webb never accepted her son died in the way that Dina said, and she quickly convinced me that I owed it to her and to her son to re-examine how Julian died.
I was certain he had been murdered because there is absolutely no way that he would have taken his own life. He was such an even sort of character, and he loved life.
Dina always claimed Julian had taken an overdose of her own antidepressants, dithiopin. The police decided to exhume his body to look for more clues.
I was disappointed by the exhumation. We had lots of high hopes, but actually our forensic test didn't take us any further forward. Nothing conclusive.
The test did confirm that Julian was killed by dithiopin, but this created a mystery.
Dithiopin tastes very bitter, so you have to mask it, otherwise the person will know they're eating it, and we didn't know how that happened.
Dina was questioned again, but she gave away nothing.
I've made my statement. I really don't have anything else to add.
With Dina going no comment, and with the exhumation not giving us any more forensic yield, I realised that we were going to have to rely on circumstantial evidence.
Dina mentions that Julian was quite depressed, when in fact all those that were around him said he was quite happy and he was joking.
We went through her old statements with a fine-tooth comb to find the discrepancies and show how she had lied and lied and lied.
Then a new lead emerged. An American friend of Julian's called Don Hudson. The police tracked him down in Florida, where he revealed something which transformed the investigation.
Well, she called me and told me he went fishing that day. It was his birthday. He was out in the hot sun.
Yes, we think it was just too much for his heart.
Just drinking, and took some seasickness pills, took some aspirin for his headache. Then, when she got home, she fixed him a curry.
Yes, and he had a heart attack and died.
She said a hot curry?
I suddenly realised I had the missing piece to my jigsaw. She'd hidden the taste of the dithiopin in a curry.
The police now knew how Dina had killed Julian.
Well, just take it out of my account.
But it's not that easy.
When they re-interviewed his neighbour, they found out why.
Approximately 3 or 4 days before Julian's death,
You spent it!
Yes, it's just gone!
I overheard an argument between Julian and Dina.
Okay, at all.
The argument was about money. This was very unusual as Julian was such a placid person. He never argued.
What's going
You
on?
put me in charge of the bills and the housekeeping!
I wouldn't have done it if I'd known you're so irresponsible.
I'm
You can't even look
irresponsible.
after.
Her tangled web of deceit was beginning to unravel, and she needed now to deal with this.
Thousands of
Charge
pounds!
for your account
Okay,
then.
fine.
Thousands of pounds!
As soon as Julian found out that all of their money had gone, he had to die. She was going to kill him. The motive was money. She was in financial difficulties. Julian was insured with his employer, and the mortgage was insured against his death. If Julian died, Dina would have been financially secure. It would have to be a significant dose of dithiopine to incapacitate someone and put them into a near coma state. And I think that was administered in a very hot vindaloo curry, which Julian loved.
I think you may be going to go out with Dave again on the boat.
Oh, okay.
Try and actually catch something this time.
You okay?
I feel like really strange.
Do you want to think she'd go and lie down?
Yeah, I think I just have a bit like that.
Oh dear.
I have nightmares, or have had nightmares, over how Julian's last few days went. Because I have visions of him being incapacitated in bed, looking at the woman he loves, continuing to overdose him until his body gave up. That's an awful, awful thought.
Yes, I'm just calling about Julian. I'm afraid he won't be coming into work tomorrow. No, he's not feeling very well.
She effectively kept him a prisoner in his own bedroom, and no one realised what was happening.
On his birthday, I thought I must phone him and say happy birthday.
Hello? Hi. No, he can't come to the phone at the moment.
He'd been ill all day. In fact, she said he'd been ill, for some days.
Yes, he's just sleeping.
I said to her, call the doctor.
I will. Okay. Yeah, bye.
But Dina never did call the doctor.
Drink this. He can't come to the phone at the moment. Very good. I just don't know housekeeping.
Hours later, Julian was dead.
Please be quick.
Within 24 hours of Julian's unexpected death, Dina was at his employers asking about how to reclaim a pension and was on the phone to the mortgage company trying to redeem the mortgage.
There's nothing that we're going to do for him. I'm very sorry.
Dina then came up with a succession of contradictory explanations for Julian's death.
He was very depressed. Bad stomach upset. Change. He was having problems at work. She could have stopped
And that was massively damning for me because she gave something like 9 different versions.
He had a very hot curry. He changed to aspirin. I think he was taking antidepressants.
The police had uncovered enough. It was time to charge Dina with Julian's murder. She was found guilty and jailed for life.
Quite frankly, this woman is every man's nightmare. For the last decade, she has targeted men financially, sexually and physically. And I, for one, am very glad that she's behind bars.
Like, Julian was my only son, my only child. We were very close. I have no feelings about someone like her. She is not worth having any thoughts or feelings about. She is, as far as I'm concerned, just scum.
Coming up, the gruesome murder of a young woman.
Give me it! I haven't got it!
And how the chance discovery of a poem led police to catch the killer.
Hi there, lads.
Next, the gang who planned the biggest robbery in British history.
All right, lads. 2 minutes. Load it up.
There's no doubt in my mind that this would have dwarfed
the Great Train robbery and the Brinksmack robbery put together.
In 2002, there was a serious epidemic of armed criminality in and around Heathrow Airport.
That was thefts from warehouses, bonded warehouses, lorry hijackings that were being committed by about 200 to 300 criminals that lived in that community around Heathrow Airport.
To catch the ringleaders, Scotland Yard's elite flying squad needed information.
The first big breakthrough was when a baggage handler was arrested and came forward as a supergrass.
Well, the guys you need to be looking for, they all live in the Stanwell area, so they know the airport like the back of their hand.
It's all very well. What we need is names.
The key name that came through from the information he provided was a man by the name of John Beach.
John Beach is the guy you need to be looking for.
Beach worked as a van driver in Stanwell, near Heathrow.
We decided to put him under close surveillance to see what both he and his associates were doing.
It was imperative to identify his network and then to piece together what it is they're planning to commit.
Beach's key friends were Martin Nolan, who I considered as his lieutenant, and Chris Smith, who would be the right-hand man for Martin Nolan.